Okay, earlier we had the sample and hold going. Let's get the sample and hold going again. I'm taking the pink noise as your sample source. I'm taking the square wave output from the modulation generator as our clock, and I'm directing that output into total, which means it's controlling the oscillators and both filters. Okay, that's cool. But what if you wanted to be able to be playing normally and then add that as an effect at various points? You're not going to want to try and turn these knobs like all the way, all three on and then all three off. That's going to be really challenging. So what the heck can you do in this instance? I mean, I don't want to have to memorize those settings and then be like, oh. I mean, that's impossible. So what we need is something to control the amplitude of the voltage output of the sample and hold so that we can decide when it's on and when it's off. And there's actually a way to do that. Right here we have VCA2. VCA2. Here's our main VCA, and we always think of the voltage-controlled amplifier as the last step in synthesis. It's the thing that controls the volume of the synthesizer. The envelope just basically sends a voltage that says, turn up the volume and turn off the volume, and that's what the VCA does. So we have another VCA, and it's like, well, what noise are we turning the volume up on? Well, we can use it to turn the volume of certain noises up, but I'll get to that. It also, and this comes from the origin of modular synthesis, the VCA doesn't just control audio signals, it also controls voltages. So in the same way that you turn up the volume of an audio signal, you can turn up the amplitude of a voltage signal. And so that's one of the great things you can use the VCA for. Let's take the output from the sample and hold and put it into the input of the VCA. Now we need something to control the volume of the sample and hold, basically control the volume of the amplitude of the signal of the sample and hold in the VCA. As it happens, we've been given a volume knob for just such an occasion, and that volume knob is the wheel. So I am plugging this cable into the output of the wheel and plugging it into the control input of the VCA. Now we have a volume knob to control how much sample and hold is sent to the total, which is sent to the oscillators together and then the two separate filters. Okay, so here we go. Ready? What? There's no effect. Where is the effect? Well, obviously, the mod wheel is still in its zero position. So that is like a volume of zero. None of the voltage that is the output from the sample and hold is getting to these three different parts. We just got to turn up the volume. And there we go. We have just used the VCA to control the amplitude of the sample and hold. Now, I said earlier that we can also use it to control audio sounds, and that's true too. Let me show you. I just have to unpatch for a moment. Probably could have left some of those in, but I'm just in such a rush. Okay. Well, for example, I'm a guy who I don't really want to waste oscillator 1 on noise. Whoa there. I like noise as much as the next guy, but yeah, I'm losing like a detune opportunity here. I'd rather get my noise from elsewhere. As it happens, we can do that. I'm gesturing with a cable. That's a little bit weird. Okay, as it happens, we can do that. Here's how we do it. Let's take pink noise, because that's white noise. I like pink noise. I favor pink noise. I'm going to take the pink noise and put it into the input of the VCA. And using our last example as a model, what would you suggest I do next? I thought you'd say that. That is, we need to use our volume knob, which is the wheel. Let's plug it into the control input. It is the thing controlling the volume of the noise. And we're talking about volume in this particular instance. So I'm going to take that noise that we now are controlling, and I could direct it really anywhere. I could use it as a modulation source like this. Watch what happens. We'll go here. Let me put it into the low pass filter. Okay. Let's turn this back to saw. And then, since this is patched, this is the patch panel, it's not total, it's going to be the bottom knob, which we've overridden its connection to envelope generator 2, and it's now on external, which is the patch panel. Let's hear what happens. Oh, it's broken. Nothing happened. Wait, though. We forgot that our volume knob is right here. So in this instance, we're actually using the mod wheel to direct the amount of modulation to a source. And this could go anywhere. We could put this, into the frequency of the oscillators. Which is actually really cool. But we have that opportunity. We could also put it into the external signal in. And what does that do? That basically gives us a noise oscillator. Whereas using the noise function in oscillator 1 takes away one of our tone sources, if we put it into the external signal in, we're not taking away anything, and we get to use this as the amount knob of the noise. So we have our sound. And then we can just add noise to our liking. We can use white noise too, if that's more your taste. As you can see, I'm just turning up the noise. And that is what our VCA is really for. It's about giving us the opportunity to control the volume of a sound or a control voltage before it reaches its destination. And we don't just need to use the wheel. We could also use, theoretically, like the modulation generator. Of course, we don't have control over the volume like we did with the mod wheel, but right now the modulation generator is controlling the volume or amplitude of that signal. And it sounds like it's modulating the noise, but really it's just letting the noise through and then not letting the noise through. So the VCA has a lot of opportunity. You can direct any function into the VCA, like envelopes or whatever, to decide the degree to which whatever modulating source or sound source affects whatever input.